The Region 5 COVID-19 Task Force held a press conference earlier today to update the public on the effects of the pandemic in the region. More from Narima Ali.
The officials of the Mahaica-Berbice region are not giving up the fight against the much-dreaded coronavirus, even after recording its first positive case. Today, Wednesday, August 19, the regional chairman called a press conference with members of the media and several stakeholders in Mahaica-Berbice to discuss their way forward as a region. The chairman, Mr. Vichan Ramphal, made these brief opening remarks.
Region number 5 has recorded its first case of COVID-19, and so we are taking all the possible measures so as to prevent any spread in this region. Let me say that the 10 NDCs will also be engaged.
The regional health officer, Dr. Desmond Nicholson, gave an update on the first COVID patient, who they refer to as Patient 0.
Identified Patient 0, female patient, 66 years of age. This patient was tested at the Paradise testing facility in Region 4, and the results came back positive. In terms of the patient's management, as I mentioned before, we have moved this patient into isolation. We began active contact tracing immediately upon receipt of the news that the patient had tested positive. We have identified 2 close contacts. One, the husband who tested negative. The other person of interest, who is a relative, who frequented the home of the index case. That person is in quarantine at the experimental center. So you know, quarantine is about observation mostly and preventing, if indeed that person is COVID-19 positive, detecting it early rather, and thus preventing further spread.
Since the coronavirus was first recorded in Guyana in March, the Mahaica-Berbice region was the only region that was COVID-19 free up until Sunday, August 16.
But I want to say thank you to the residents of Region 5. I believe that we have done a good job. In my capacity as health officer, I believe we are still in the region. We are still in the process or in the stage of containment, and we have done that thus far, and we will continue our efforts.
Additionally, the regional health officer would like to remind all residents of their measures to ensure that the region does not become a hotspot.
With the support of the regional chairman, that residents coming into the region from especially regions 1, 9, the hotspots, we know them by now. You will be quarantined if you do not have a COVID-19 test that says you are negative.
Also at the press briefing was Dr. Vishwa Mahadio, who was a representative from the Ministry of Health. Dr. Mahadio mentioned that the ministry has more equipment to continue testing patients.
We've had a lot of donations that came in, so we have a lot more PPEs. We have a lot more testing kits available, and kits will be sent to the region. However, we have another constraint here in that on an average, we can do just over 80 tests, PCR tests a day. So it doesn't matter that we send 500 kits to the regions, and if 500 tests go back, we can only do a maximum of 86 per day. For the time being, we are right now in the process of training more persons to be able to do the tests. We are in the process of trying to acquire more equipment so that we'll be able to do more tests per day. In the meantime, like I said, we'll need to prioritize, identify those who we see need to test like immediately, and get those persons tested. Now, the issue of getting the test done, finding a positive patient, that is just the beginning of it all.
The region has 6 medical staff that are trained to conduct the COVID-19 nasal pharyngeal swabs and samples. However, the tests are not being done in the region. Only samples are being collected. Meanwhile, in Region 6, it was disclosed at a meeting held earlier today that 7 new positive cases were recorded in Berbice. Among the 7 new cases, 2 of the patients are Berbicians and the other 5 are Cubans. Additionally, officials are still awaiting results for other patients, one of whom has escaped from medical care. More details on this will be provided in the subsequent newscast. Residents are being reminded to practice all health guidelines and to continue eating healthy, nutritious foods that will help to build the immune system. Stay safe and stay at home. Narima Ali, Channel 8 News.